Welcome to the Next in Time podcast, where we explore the fascinating depths of how people have the potential of impacting the world with the mission and vision of their project. Join us on this audio journey as we uncover the hidden gems of one's vision, delve into thought-provoking discussions of why they're pursuing it, and see how they're going to make an impact. If you're a curious person, this podcast is your go-to destination.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Next in Time podcast. I'm your host, ST, and today our guest is Noah Hutton. He is the founder of NTH Productions, where he's in charge of creating professional real estate photos and videos with priority on high quality and quick turnaround to make sure you get the most of your time and money. He's a storyteller at heart, and he's highly passionate in capturing people and brands through stunning photography. So Noah, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you've mentioned earlier that you're in three different categories that you focused your business on, right? Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I, every videographer and photographer when they start out kind of does all the any project they can get paid for, get their hands on, and I'm still in that a little bit. But as far as advertising my business, I've kind of niched down into three different areas that I really enjoy working in, and that I found a lot of fulfillment and potential in. So the first area is real estate media. That's kind of where I got my start in entrepreneurship and video production. So I do photography and video for different listings, builders, Airbnbs and VRBOs, and then architects and project general partners as well. So that's the first area. The second area is event media. So I will do photography and videography for different events, providing coverage to conferences, fundraisers, golf outings, leadership events, corporate events mainly. And then the third area of my business is called commercial media. So that's kind of a catch-all kind of category. I work with different brands and companies to provide media from them, whether that is drone photography and video, brand videos, storytelling, documentaries, things like that. That's kind of the everything else area of my business.
So how do you manage all three at the same time?
So it kind of really just depends on the clients I have. So like last week, these last few weeks have been really heavy in real estate with the market picking up. So that's really where my time actually going out and shooting has been. And then, looking at events and corporate media is really where I'm spending my time on outreach, because real estate is very heavy into referrals. So I'm getting referred to different agents here and there. Every once in a while, I'll pick something up, work with a new agent. So that category, I don't do as much cold outreach unless I find an agent that I'm really interested in working with. And there's a few in the community that I'm in that I'm trying to work with. But that area is kind of self-service in a way, like it's kind of serving itself, growing itself. The events and corporate side, I am really focusing on the cold outreach and just actually searching for the clients. And that's where I spend a lot of my day, searching for different clients. Like right now, I'm really pressing golf courses and golf outings because the summer, lots of golf outings, lots of people outside, want to get outside. And then there are also a ton of lakes around my area. We have over 100 lakes in our county.
Where are you based in?
I am based in Warsaw, Indiana. So so Warsaw, Indiana is north central Indiana. It's about 2.5 hours from Indianapolis north, and then about 45 minutes west of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And Notre Dame in South Bend is not too much farther west of us as well, northwest. But yeah, like I said, there's a ton of lakes around here, so I'm really pressing companies that utilize the lake, whether that is boat rentals, restaurants on the lake, community organizers that do events to the lake, like triathlons, things like that. So my events and commercial media side is really where I'm pushing the outreach. And then, like I said, real estate kind of services itself with different referrals from agents and other people in the industry.
And now you're also the host of the Rest of Us podcast, right?
Yes, I started my own podcast back in January.
So what do you normally talk about?
Yeah, so that podcast kind of came about because I saw entrepreneurship as a very lonely endeavor. It's really hard to, unless you have a business partner, you're not doing a ton of social interaction in the beginning, well, as you grow. So I wanted to talk to more entrepreneurs and learn from them. Every time I have a conversation with them, I'm learning and growing in my skills and just my entrepreneurship in general. So we talk about, I bring on younger entrepreneurs generally under 30, but just people starting out in their business and growing, kind of like I am right now. We talk about everything from, how they started, growth strategy. If it's a photographer, videographer, we might get into topics like pricing yourself, because that's really hard as a creative entrepreneur to figure out how to price yourself. Marketing, sales, just networking, anything that is related to entrepreneurship. But it's a lot of storytelling, and just talking about the struggles and the journey of growing your business.
All right. And also, how old are you, by the way? Just want to.
I'm 23. I'm 23, almost 24. So
you're 23, almost 24, and you're basically killing it right now.
Yeah, I thank you. Yeah, I'm doing my best, trying to grow. And it's hard because I look at people younger than me that are more successful than I am. But I try to keep kind of a good outlook of, I'm only 23. I have lots of years ahead of me to grow. Being patient and really focusing on growth at a young age.
No worries, man. I'm 28, and I feel the pressure sometimes. Like, why are people younger than me beating me in everything I do? And then that kind of gives me motivation sometimes to be like, okay, you know what? Young people do give you the energy to say, I gotta push myself to the next level.
Oh yeah. I've interviewed people on the podcast that are 18, 19, 20, but they're building 100 or 6-figure companies, and it honestly, like, it pushes me to see that it is possible to grow these companies at a fast rate, and get to the point that I want to be at. So it's more, I tried to see it as more encouraging than jealous or spite, because I've been there in both instances, but I try to look at a more positive way, and cheer on the people that are growing alongside me.
Right. And so, yeah, let's get to know more about Noah as the person. Like, tell me more about yourself. Like, what made you really become entrepreneurial as a young person?
Yeah. So any endeavor that I get on, I'm very education focused, learning focused. Both my parents are teachers, so that's kind of where that came from. But whenever I take on a job, a position, I'm always like, how can I learn from this? What skills can I learn from this? So my kind of start in entrepreneurship was back in 2020. I had wanted to learn graphic design for an internship that I was in, and I wasn't really good at Adobe Illustrator and just graphic design in general, but I wanted a reason to do it. I didn't want to just do it to get better for my internship. I didn't want to do it as a career necessarily. So I decided to start a clothing brand, because the other thing I wanted to learn was kind of the tactical skills of marketing. So actually doing advertising and running Facebook ads and doing Shopify and e-commerce and things like that. So I decided to start my clothing brand. It lasted about a year. It didn't really go anywhere, but it was still a really fun experience. And that was my kind of first taste into entrepreneurship and running my own company. And after that, I knew I wanted to pursue production and marketing in some way. And so what I did was, after out of college, I was looking to get a full-time job in marketing, and then on the side do freelance work, whether that's video work. Specifically real estate was really where I was targeting last summer. And this all happened like last year. So I started in 2022. And I realized come around July, August I still had not gotten a job offer. I really didn't have anything lined up. And so I kind of made a decision, especially around August, September, that I was just going to go full time into my business. I still had an internship that was keeping me on as long as they would have me. And I recently left that in May. But at that point, I was like, I need to just put all my time into this business, because I saw the light at the end of the tunnel in a way. I was getting some traction with the business. And so I knew that as much time as I could put into it, it would benefit me in the future. So I stopped applying for jobs, and I'm living at home, and I was saving money a little bit that way, and just really focusing on the business and growing it. And now I'm full time in my business, working on that and growing it. So that's kind of how I started the entrepreneur journey, and I really love it. I really love being my own boss, and it comes with its challenges, but it's really fulfilling. And so not really looking back and moving forward.
So what do you feel like is the most challenging aspect when starting a particular business, especially you delved into real estate, the creative side, the what do you call the event side of things? Like, what do you feel like is the most challenging part of it?
Yeah, the most challenging part of entrepreneurship, and especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, is the discipline that you have to have. There are days where I just don't want to work. I'm not motivated. I have no interest in working. And those are the days where I really have to push through and get something done, whether that's sending emails, editing for a video, going out and shooting with my camera, whatever I need to do. I need to work on those days. And then there are days where I'm like, this week has been I've been super motivated. I've been really active in meeting people and going out and searching for clients, things like that. So the balance of those two makes it really hard, especially on the days where you're not motivated. So you really have to be disciplined and get things done, because every day you work towards in your business and on your business, you're inching closer to the success you want to have, financial stability, being financially independent, and really growing the business, and eventually hiring, things like that. So the discipline is probably the hardest thing within a entrepreneurship.
Right. In what way do you think do you normally discipline yourself when you're trying to, go for when you're trying to attain certain goals?
Yeah. So one thing that I do is I get out of the house as much as I can. I try to go to coffee shops. I have one that I'm probably a regular at now. They kind of know my order at this point because I'm always there working. And it's really hard when I'm at home to get stuff done. Sometimes I have to be, because I have a bigger monitor, and it helps with video editing, things like that. But if I have a day where all I'm doing is prospecting and sending emails and maybe working on my website or things like that, I don't really need to be at my house. And so I try to get outside as much as I can. Even just working outside on like the patio of my house helps a lot. That's really what kind of keeps me focused. And I really like working in social environments. Even as an introvert, I still like having people around, and I feel like it keeps me disciplined, because whether it's true or not, I feel like people are like seeing what I'm doing. And if I'm like on my phone the whole time, they're like, why is he at a coffee shop just on his phone the whole time? So that's one thing.
You just like to attract attention in a way, like people sitting in the coffee shop desks and just saying, hey, what's this guy doing on the phone? And
yeah, I mean, it keeps me, it gives opportunities for networking. So like, for example, a couple days ago, I was working in my local coffee shop, my regular coffee shop, and I see people that are in the community that I know or I haven't seen in a while, and we strike up a conversation like, oh, I saw you were doing you have your own business now, like, how's that going? And a lot of them are always like, a lot of people are willing to help, and make connections, things like that. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing videography. What are you doing right now? Oh, I'm working in this new startup business. Hey, if you ever need any photography or video, let me know, especially if it's real estate related. That happened a couple days ago, so that was really cool. So it keeps me available to people, because if I'm in my house, nobody can get to me. But if I'm in a coffee shop, a real estate agent might walk in, or a business owner might walk in, somebody that I know or that I met before, or I want to meet, and then they're accessible to me. So that's one thing I do. The other thing that I do is I write stuff down. I'm really bad about that, but every time I do it, I'm really successful with it and getting the things done that I write down. So like right now I have a note on my computer right now. It says, call this person, call this other person, and then visit these two places. And I visited these two places right before this call, and now after this call, I'm gonna call those potential clients that I have some connections with. So when I have things written down, whether it's on my computer in Notion or if it's literally on a sticky note, which is even better, it keeps me focused, and I can check those things off, but I feel productive. And having checklists, when I do write them down, I feel the most successful. And then when I have like 50 things to do and I don't write anything down, I just feel like I kind of get overwhelmed and overstimulated, and then I shut down. So if I can write like 4 things down to do for the day and complete those, I feel super productive, and that really helps me.
Right. And so how do you think you're growing your business this year, especially when you're trying to balance 3 or 4 different aspects of the of 3 or 4 different industries altogether?
Yeah, so the thing I've been pushing really hard this year is networking. I'm constantly going to events. I'm constantly talking to people. One thing that's really helped is I joined a group called BNI, which is Business Networking International. And in our local group, all we do is refer business to each other. So there's a realtor in the group. He refers business to me because he needs his listing shot. There's other business owners that work with, people in the community, and they're like, hey, I know this person that has an event center, or I know this person that knows this realtor, or I know this realtor that I can connect you with. And that's been really great for my business. The other thing I did, and I've really been pushing hard these past few weeks, is joining our Chamber of Commerce. The Kosciuszko County Chamber of Commerce is really, really, really strong in networking and building connections and building up the businesses in the local area. And so that's been really great for me. Like just today, I was going out. So like golf courses are a place that I'm really looking to build in my business and grow as a clientele. And so I was going out to these golf courses today, and I texted one of my friends that's in the Chamber of Commerce, and I said, they're like, are you going to event today? And I said, oh no, I can't, sorry, I'm going down to these golf courses trying to pitch them on drone photography, drone video. And they text me back, they're like, no worries, if you need any connections, let me know. This person in my office is a golf coach for the local high school, school, and they've golfed a bunch of different courses around here. And they mentioned like Fort Wayne, which is the area I really want to break into, like work with some of those golf courses out there. So I was like, yeah, that'd be great. These are the golf courses I've already talked to. These are the ones that seem promising. These are the ones that I'm working on in the future. And then I have like a text from them I haven't read yet, but it's like a list of golf courses I should reach out to, and ones that I didn't even think about reaching out to. So the chamber has really been great, and then their whole goal is just to market the businesses in the area. And so that's really what I'm focusing on, is networking, going to as many events as possible, meeting new people, and building connections that way.
Right. And so my other question I wanted to ask is, why do you think of yourself as a storyteller at heart?
Yeah, so that is something that I have always been, but I really kind of like see myself as now. Like, I talk about myself as a storyteller, and any work that I do in creativity, it has to have some sort of story behind it. You know, whether that is real estate, every house has a story, or it's gonna bring stories to the new homeowner or the old homeowner. So there's storytelling in that, and when you're doing video, you can tell a story with the house. If you're doing brand videos, especially for nonprofits, they have fantastic stories to tell, whether that's from the people that they have benefited or the people and why they serve that nonprofit. They have stories to tell. And even, you know, in our conversation today, like, I've told 3 or 4 stories probably, and I recorded 2 podcasts yesterday, and all of it was just telling different stories to answer the questions that they were asking me. So I feel like naturally, like, I just talk in story. And then in my work, you know, every video, every piece of content needs to have some sort of a story behind it, or else it's just pictures on a screen. Like, there's no necessarily reason behind it, but if you can have some sort of story to connect it, and story to communicate the meaning behind the media, that is really when it becomes a really strong, really meaningful piece of media that I create.
Right. And so who are the types of clients do you think you've made a major impact on in terms of, you know, bringing their story up front?
Yeah, so clients wise, I have a lot of realtors that I have made an impact on, in the sense that bringing professional photography to their listings has brought them great success. It also highlights the houses that, you know, a house is probably the most expensive piece of investment that you're going to make in your lifetime. And so when you make that investment, you care about that house, whether it, you know, is the place where you had your first child, or, you know, your family grew and now you're selling it. Like, highlighting it in the best light possible is really impactful on these people. So that's really where I think I make the impact there. And then as far as other, you know, work, I've worked with nonprofits in the past and professional organizations to capture their events and capture the energy behind their events. One example I can give is I went to I was photographed for the Order of the Golden Rule, or the International Order of the Golden Rule, which is an organization for funeral directors, independent family-owned funeral directors specifically. And, you know, that event, you might like think about that organization like, why is that an association? Like, where's the connection there? It seems really depressing, you know, dealing with death and the death care industry. But, you know, going into that the meeting, the conference that they had, and capturing the energy, they had some really great speakers that, you know, brought really a lot of light to the room and energized the crowd, and talked about that. So my photographs really capture that, and the speakers that spoke have reached out to me and be like, I didn't even know I made those facial expressions. Like, I love that. I love that you were able to capture that. It's really great for my branding, for them. So, you know, I feel like when you bring on a professional, I have a different eye than, you know, somebody with their phone that's trying to capture the picture of what's happening. And so that's really where I bring an impact, is just bringing my abilities, my storytelling, my just creative eye, and helping people tell their stories however they want to. One thing that I always tell, I've worked with clients, is they're the clients that have they know exactly what they want, and we're going to execute on that plan exactly. And then there are other clients, like one of the golf course managers I spoke to today, he had no idea what he wanted, but he wanted what I was offering. And so those clients is where, like, okay, I can have more creative control, creativity, and just bring my input and my creative eye into the project. And so that's really where it brings an input or impact, because they have this great, you know, golf course, they have this great organization, but they don't really know how to showcase it. And then that's where I come in with my storytelling mindset, and I can really bring an impact into their organization.
And so where do you see this business going in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so first and foremost, what I'm focusing on right now is just getting myself financially independent. That's the biggest thing. That's part of the reason I wanted to start the business, is building something from the ground up that I can be proud of and, support myself on my own completely. After that, I really hope to hire out a team. There are aspects of the business that I really enjoy, and there are aspects of the business that I'm more than happy to hire out. And video editing is one of them. I've already hired accounting and lawyers, things like that. But really hiring out a team and building a team that I can, count on and work with. Because then again, that brings the social aspect into the business where like every day I am on my own, I'm pitching myself, I'm doing everything myself, and it's exhausting and it's a lot. But if I can bring on a team that gives me people to talk to every day, it gives me people to bounce ideas off of, and it gives me more opportunities to grow, and then I can step away from maybe the production side of it and only take on the projects I want to do, and then also work on the business development side, which is really what I'm passionate about. So actually bring on new clients, talking to people and networking, going to events and meeting potential clients, learning about their needs that I can, and hopefully we can in the future provide. So really want to just grow out a team, build out a team, and then hopefully potentially have some sort of an office or studio one day. I would love to have some sort of a studio space to work out of, because the other thing I kind of realized, and I've talked about it a little bit, is like I need to get out of the house to work. And so having some sort of an office space, studio space that I can go and work in and leave my work at the studio would be fantastic, because then I can just come home and focus on the life part of my life and leave the work at home as much as I want to.
Yeah, I could tell, because when I think you're like, the way you're picturing your journey upwards is somewhat similar to the way I'm trying to do it, because I'm trying to get I'm currently traveling, and I'm also looking for a place where I can set up my studio for my podcast, where I can get better quality audio, better quality episodes, just churning out it like left and right. So I think I can tell you this: you've got a very good you have a very good way of trying to sell and persuade people. That's what I feel whenever. Because you really go at it like, okay, this is this is what I see as the benefit of your company, or this is how I'm going to structure your image, or this is how I'm going to create your video and really broadcast it on these important channels. So I think that's kind of what I see, where you got a good potential if you just keep at it, that you can just like skyrocket yourself. Like you can be the one who could make changes to the local community.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really, focusing on community. One thing that I kind of found interesting as I returned home from going to college, I went to college at Purdue University in West Lafayette. And one thing that I was really trying to do after college was just get out of Indiana. I had no intention of staying here. I wanted to move out to LA. I love LA. I still love LA. But when I came back here, I really fell back in love with the community, and also especially getting in connection with the Chamber of Commerce here, and just the different people that are building their business here. I really see this area growing a ton. We're the orthopedic capital of the world, so we have a ton of industry that way, but also just bringing in a ton more business and a lot more community action to better our community has been really great. And so I don't really see myself leaving, or if I do leave, it's not going to be very far, because I still kind of fell back in love with the community and the people here. It's been great. So really focusing on bettering the community with my work, but also traveling with my work and growing the business and the clientele that way.
And so one last question before we end this conversation is, what advice, you've interviewed a lot of young entrepreneurs, you work with a lot of young entrepreneurs. What advice would you give them?
I would say network as much as you can. One thing that I ran into last year when I was trying to grow my business and get started was I kind of hid behind my phone, my computer, sending a lot of emails, doing a lot of cold calling. But really when I saw my business grow was when I got out of my house, out of the office area that I have, and network, going to events, putting myself out there, meeting people, and also just reaching out to people and seeing how they can benefit my business and how I can benefit theirs. One thing that I've learned in my business is that people want to help people, especially entrepreneurs want to help other entrepreneurs. Finding like local entrepreneurs that can benefit me, whether that's like an agency, we can trade work or anything like that. Like whatever it is in your business, find the people that can support you and network in your community, because those are the people that are going to really grow your business. And it's really hard to grow a business if you're not networking in the community that you're in.
Very cool, Noah. Thank you so much for coming on the Next in Time podcast, and looking forward to seeing how you will be able to make that major impact in your community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is a great conversation.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Next in Time podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving into the intriguing vision of our guest today. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media to stay updated on future episodes. If you have any suggestions or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.